Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture. This one is on arguments for and against Russell Brand during what is a very trying time for this gentleman. The purpose of this video overall, and this is during most of the videos I make, I want to help bridge the broader understanding across the divide. I want to help people who view this, who may be in one of two camps, to sort of begin to appreciate maybe a little bit better in one space why people support and do not support Mr. Brand. Again, you're more than welcome to support him either way. This is just, again, an idea like to try to bridge that understanding. For those of you who may not know, he's been all over the news recently, and we'll get into that in just a second. He's best known as being a British comedian, TV and radio personality, film actor, YouTuber, just a variety of things. He does a fair bit of different things. He's got a pretty broad taste. What's happened most recently, he's had some legal and reputational issues dealing with some accusations of rape, sexual assaults, and abuse by a number of different women. Again, we'll get into that in a bit more in just a moment. First, I'm going to go in terms of the arguments in favor of Russell Brand. I think one of the biggest ones that you see online is the idea of basic legal principles, and that is innocent until proven guilty. That's a presumption of innocence which has been around since law became formalized. And I think a lot of people that are in support of Brand worry that standard hasn't been met. It's a long process, and I believe that kind of stuff might just be starting, but that will take a little bit of time. Another reason people are in favor of Russell Brand, I believe, is due to economic security. And that is that these days I think he makes a fair bit of revenue off of formal online platforms like YouTube and Rumble. And he also does stage performances like stand-up acts. And I think some of the things is that, given these allegations have not been fully proven, people who, obviously I think he's pretty financially well off, even if he never worked again. I think as long as he was somewhat economical with his money. I think a lot of people feel threatened that if a person just has allegations, that they lose the access to the platforms that allow them to have some kind of economic security. I think that's very bothersome for a lot of people who may be working via platforms like YouTube, Rumble, etc., etc. Another one, this is a little bit off track, but I hope you I'm trying to sort of understand these issues, so please bear with me. And that is about free expression. So a lot of people who support Brand believe that a lot of this is based on these attacks. The timing from them are based on the fact that he has some counter points to mainstream narratives about COVID-19, vaccinations, pharmaceutical industry, military industrial complex, etc. And they feel that these allegations are part of a way to squelch his free speech. They believe that his anti-establishment, anti-institution speech is somehow threatening to the powers that be, and they believe that anyone should be able to speak their mind about these issues, and I think that's really bothersome to a lot of people. Also, in terms of support, for people to support him, I think you could point out to a fair bit of online support. He has a number of, whether you like these people or not, they're pretty powerful. Elon Musk wrote, of course they don't like competition, which goes back to Brand working in independent media more as opposed to mainstream media. Andrew Tate, who wrote Welcome to the Club, Rusty Ruckus, about these allegations. Tucker Carlson wrote, criticized drug companies, questioned the war in Ukraine, and you can be pretty sure this is going to happen. And there's been just, again, a general fan base has been generally supporting him. Now I'll go into the arguments against Brand. Obviously, the allegations. Again, the rape, sexual assault, and abuse, initially 4 women. I believe it's more now, and one of them was 16. There was an in-depth investigation that seems relatively legitimate to those who know mass media investigations by the Sunday Times, the Times, and Channel 4 dispatches show in the UK. So those are somewhat substantial and at least serious. Something I think a lot of people that I think are sort of going against Brand or pointing to his existing words and actions. And I guess the idea is that, where there's smoke, there's fire. If things happen in the past, maybe they happened in more detail than maybe is known to the public. Yeah, he had a book called like My Bookie Book, where there's some passages that are a little bit problematic about some of his sexual behavior. And some stand-up specials, I think he's known as being a bad boy, a naughty boy, and he had some things that he said that were a bit, off the beaten path, if you will. And then he's had some media appearances where he's done some relatively risque things, and I think again people see these things and it feeds into their beliefs, which again may be founded or not. That's why we have a court of law, and why sometimes it takes such a long time for it to go through that process. One of the big things I think that's happened with Brand is he's being caught in a maelstrom of changing social standards. There's been a post-Me Too discourse on old conduct and victims' claims, how these things have changed over time. Finally, Associates' actions. He's had issues with his Tavistock Wood Management Agency, which dropped him. Treasury Women and Children's Charity, which dropped him, as well as his content's been dropped from Paramount Plus, BBC, Channel 4, and YouTube. Those were arguments for and against Russell Brand. Please feel free to comment. Do you believe the allegations? Do you go against them? If you support him or you don't, why is that? Please feel free to comment. And please be respectful to other people who are posting. Please feel free to like this video, and please feel free to subscribe if you want to see some of my content. Thanks a lot. Take care.